Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. This one might fully be in the spirit of Pay Me No Mind. You know, you might fully disagree with what I'm getting ready to talk about or say, but it's what's on the menu for today. Please consider becoming a subscriber to the channel. If you like the way that any of the information is being broken down or discussed, previewed, analyzed, recap, so on and so forth, you know, leave a comment. Weigh in with me. I want to hear all opinions. You know, I really don't think I know everything, and don't want to look down on the views and opinions of others. I'm just trying to connect a few dots here, but want to talk about a very important post that just kind of encapsulates where we are with boxing and the state of boxing, and the fact that, you know, just do yourself a favor and throw the towel in. You know, nothing obligates you to continue to watch boxing and to continue to wait for big time boxing to do right by you, because it's not going to happen. And it's a tweet that I just saw last night that that drove this point home more profoundly than I have seen it done in recent times. Also want to talk about Russell Westbrook and what's kind of been going on, what's been cooking the last few weeks with Russ and Stephen A, Russell's wife, weighing in. You know, this brings in Perkins. Perkins has to get involved. What's up, Jamal? Perkins has to get involved. And then you saw KD made some comments. He said who his top 5 teammates were, and he left Russell off, and that created some things. So we'll get into all of that in a second. I'm not even gonna hold anybody up on the boxing comment that I was gonna get into, and I'm not even gonna draw out my talking points on boxing, because it is what it is. But this really just lets you know, if anybody that wants to continue to sit around and wonder why these big fights can't be made, why they won't be made, why you feel ignored, why you feel disregarded, belittled, you know, so on and so forth, why you're over a wheelbarrow trying to support this sport. The answer is right in front of your face. Like, sometimes when people tell you who they are, believe them and save yourself some time. The other day, April 24th on Twitter, Caleb Plant. You can search for him and see what his name is. I don't know what it is. I don't tweet anymore. But I saw this post on something, and it blew my mind. He kept it 1,000. He kept it 1,000,000. A multi-million is how real he kept it. But Caleb Plant tweeted, maxed out my 401k / profit sharing in 2019 and 2020. He said something else. Off of that alone, I'm a multi-millionaire. Let's make these moves make moves. Bro, what's up, Latours? If Caleb Plant just told you everything you needed to know, if Caleb Plant is set for life, and what he did, his opponents in 2019 and 2020 are as follows. January of 2019, excellent win against Jose Uzcategui. Great win on Fox Sports, good ratings. Had me looking for what was next. I'm like, damn, Caleb Plant out here got the knockdown, bloodied Uzcategui up, bullied him around, was a boss. Ran out of gas a little bit late, but Uzcategui looked pitiful late in that fight. I'm like, he might finally be arriving. He might be ready to take that step. Okay. July of 2019, he follows up the excellent Uzcategui win with Subway endorser guy Mike Lee, and rolls Mike Lee around the ring like a discarded honey wheat bun. Embarrassing fight. Like, honey, Mike Lee had no reason to be in that ring other than PBC was probably trying to sell you some white guys. Was trying to probably bring in some white eyes by having these two white guys in the ring. I'm just keeping it 1,000. He fights Mike Lee in July of 2019. I'm like, okay, surely that was one for the game. He has to give us something next and capitalize, 4 times. Non-competitive fight. Surely they got to give us something next because they want to make a star out of this kid. And I want to believe he's a star. He's got personality, decent ring attire. He talks his stuff. He got the story with his daughter passing away. No disrespect to that. His mom was killed by the police or something. It's all there for the kid. February 2020, Vincent Feigenbutts. Hometown homecoming fight. Feigenbutts does nothing. He can't box. He's nobody. He's trash, basically. No disrespect. German guy, I think, brought in, does nothing. Then in 2021, he takes the rest of 2020 off, understandably, COVID-19. Comes back in January of 2021 and faces Caleb Truax, a mandatory opponent. The fight is trash. I mean, in all honesty, it does nothing for nobody. I think it gets good ratings. He holds on to his belt and stays in the mix for a possible late 2021 undisputed fight, possibly with Canelo Alvarez, maybe. But he's already done. He just told you. This is like what did my man, the owner from the Houston Texans, said? The inmates are running the asylum now. Barry Hearn told you, I can't be a slave driver anymore, or I can't manipulate these dudes. They know everything. Like Caleb Plant is talking about 401k and profit share. Who even knew the PBC had that shit? The PBC has like an employee manual where they walk you through getting all this shit set up. So I'm just saying, man, these dudes, the Charlo brothers, live like kings. You can argue what you want to about their records and their resumes, whatever. Who else? I ain't writing nobody. But all of these dudes, Danny Garcia, he's on his Instagram page imitating freaking Tony Montana from Scarface 3/4 of the time. Earl Spence is doing line dances in his kitchen with 2 other brothers or whatever. Like, are we looking at who we're watching? Sometimes when people tell you who you are, you got to believe them. They don't give a damn about none of these fights y'all talking about. They don't care. My man said I maxed out my 401k. My 401k and my profit sharing in 2019 and 2020. They working with a plan. So I hope you working with a plan for yourself and be on some kind of level with them down the road, because again, nobody out here is taking losses. I was just going back and forth with my man on his post about Wilder and the fight, the possible fight between Fury and AJ, why it's not announced. You don't even know why it's not announced. You don't even know the reasons, the real reasons why it's not announced. It's not hard to put together, though. If Eddie Hearn could have made the fight in the UK, the shit would be done. This is the internet, social media age, and it affects all sports. Too common. Yeah, but I mean, the other sports, they have schedules. I mean, they have regular seasons. They have postseasons. They have TV, multi-billion-dollar TV deals. Like, it's not the same. Like you said it the other day, Latoris, boxing is a niche sport that's way down the pecking order, or the pecking order for where people spend their time. And people don't even spend their time on the major sports anymore. I saw something on Grant Hill the other day or yesterday about Grant Hill's career. I didn't even know the man retired at 40 years old, and I'm a Pistons fan. Now he went on to play in Orlando and Phoenix, but I didn't even know none of this. It was like I was seeing it for the first time because the NBA has become what it is, which I'm gonna go on and transition to what I was gonna talk about with Brodie, Russell Westbrook. So I'm done with the boxing talk. For anybody, I'm not really gonna waste a lot of time with boxing. I just thought that tweet was amazing. That with that type of limited resume. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, everyone wants fame any way they can get it. You're right. Because if they came and told me right now, Wood, we've been looking at your numbers, or we've been looking at some of your videos, man, and we want you to come be the host of this reality TV shit with this collection of idiots, all the top name idiots that I made fun of and don't like. If they told me I could be the host of that shit and give me some zeros, some commas, I'm shutting Pay Me No Mind down and I'm out. And I'm going to be the host of some shit, and I'm gonna make that shit like it makes sense. Just like Terrence J doing the moderating for the post shows of Power on the final season of Power, and they did that after show shit, and he had to sit there and make it like Power was award-winning TV. I do the same shit. Somebody show me the right bag. I'm out. Anyway, Russell Westbrook. Salute, man. I love Russell Westbrook. Hate to watch him play. He ain't never gonna win nothing. But this thing that's been going on with him and Stephen A. Smith and Russell Westbrook's wife, and now Kendrick Perkins has to get involved. And now, again, like what Latoris was saying, like, you can't give your opinion or you can't speak the truth and not step on somebody's toes or offend somebody. When we get to talking about the greatest of the greats in the NBA and the NBA basketball, like, it's very simple. You either have multiple rings or you don't. That's it. The very fact that Russell Westbrook, the very fact that his business, however it worked out, the very fact that Russell Westbrook landed in Washington, D.C. with the Wizards, the hapless ass Wizards who haven't done shit in like 30 years, maybe a couple of seasons here and there, they popped for a minute, or they were threatening or something. But the Wizards are trash. They're bums. That's where you go to die. The fact that Russell Westbrook ended up there says everything about him. Like, if James Harden would have been sent to Sacramento or Atlanta, James Harden just would have ate himself up into a 280-pound, 300-pound dude and just wouldn't have played no damn more. So, but it didn't happen that way for Harden. Harden threw a fit and ended up on the top of the damn mountain in the greatest situation with the All-Star, the Eastern Conference All-Star Nets. So I'm just saying, like, Russell Westbrook is a man. History's not gonna smile, favorably on Russ, because he ain't gonna win shit. The best that he has is at the end of his career, he can do like Gary Payton and try to go jump on somewhere in 3 years or something at a team that looks like they're poised to win a championship, and maybe he can go over there and be disappointed the way that GP was disappointed when the shit ended for him. That's really all that's gonna happen for Russ. But I respect Russ, because he, just like he said, I go out there, I play hard, I never cheat the game. He's good on TV. Hell, I was hoping he came to the Pistons this year. That's how trash the Pistons are. They couldn't even get in the mix to even make a case for the man to come, to bring the man to Detroit. That's how trash Detroit is. That's how trash the NBA is. All the dudes over there on the Nets, everybody who was somebody the last 7 to 10 years in the Eastern Conference is over there on the Nets bench trying to put together, trying to buy a title, basically. And Russell Westbrook, a walking triple-double, this man ended up in Washington, D.C., where you don't win nothing. And then Stephen A. Smith goes and speaks the truth on it. And then it's got to be a story for the last 3 or 4 weeks. In the midst of all of that, Stephen A. Words did something because all of a sudden the Washington Wizards are in the mix to maybe make the playoffs. So somebody got pissed off at being called out. But that's it with Russ. Like, the shit that we're watching Steph Curry do right now, that's meaningless in the big scheme of things. Like, Russ can't make it look that pretty. Russ ain't knocking down 28-foot shots. You know, Russ ain't going 0-8 in the first half and still scoring 50 points in the second. He ain't doing it like that. Russ is just a bunch of good highlights, dunking on people, and doing his thing, and that's what it's gonna be for Russ. That's how it works out. I don't have a lot of nothing groundbreaking to say, any great stats. You know, Russ can't shoot. He's been on some good teams, had some good teammates. They didn't make it happen. Last thing, if you go look at that situation when they were up 3-1 on 3-1 on Golden State before the whole shit fell apart or started to fall apart in OKC. Like, if you go look at that game when the Warriors ended up winning the game and then going on and getting them out of the playoffs, like, Russell's playmaking, decision-making, shooting, shot-taking, everything was on display right there of why he cost them that game. And then in the next 2 or 3 games to do something about it, he still dropped the ball, and they lost the series. And when we get to talking about the greats in basketball, when you went to head-to-head and you came up short and you look that badly coming up short, you're going to be in the category with DeMar DeRozan, Charles Barkley, Chris Webber, a whole slew of other dudes. Only thing is, you know, he is going to be in the record books in doing this phenomenal thing with all of the triple doubles and everything. And you know, it's been unfortunate that Brooks couldn't coach worth the shit. And then the dude they brought in from Billy Donovan, you can't even coach. You can't even, unlike football, Russ can't even be saved by coaching where you could manage a quarterback, you can manage a bad quarterback or something like that. But in basketball, there's no saving Russ. Like, if he doesn't want to pass the ball to the guy who can't actually knock down a shot, then he's just gonna look bad out here. And that's why he's in DC. Oh, very last comment, man. Another thing that's going on right now with Justin Fields out of Ohio State. And I hate the Buckeyes with all my heart. It's crazy that you could be the 2-time Offensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten. You can have the head-to-head game against my man Trevor Lawrence. You can throw 6 touchdowns. You can get rocked in the middle of the field and come back on, miss one play, check back in and finish off a scoring drive. Be in the running for the Heisman Trophy. Have your father in your life. Come from a good family. The dude is vegan. He all this intelligent shit about this man. And after the season ends, with no more real games being played, Dame or Russ? That's not even a question. I'm taking Dame. I know you don't like Dame, so that's a trick question. I'm taking Dame. But with no more actual games being played, and now, nobody wants to draft this brother is crazy. And it's almost like, I know the Ohio State quarterback situation, guilty by association. But if we look back and see what my man did, Deshaun Watson, who's really not a great example to go to at the moment. But Watson went back-to-back in the national championship game, told his players, did the most honorable shit possible and said, hey, I'm coming back. And I'm going to lead my brothers against who's going to be waiting in the end, Alabama, and we're going to beat them this time, and we're going to raise that national championship, and then I'm going to go to the NFL. He did all of that, kept his word, risked body and limb and all of that stuff, came back, won a national title, beat a team full of, top draft picks in Alabama, and then went into the NFL and set the league on fire before blowing up his knee and then coming back and then apparently getting, 30 massages, whatever. But I'm just saying, yeah, Zach Wilson. Like, Zach Wilson. Exactly. So I'm just saying, I'm not going to get on here and be Bomani Jones and Dominic Foxworth and whatever. I'm not going through all of that. What I would just say is that for Justin Fields, I think the farther you go down, the greater possibility that you end up with a team and a coach who isn't 6 games away from being fired, and you go somewhere with the solid culture, you go somewhere with the offensive line and other pieces on the team already, and maybe in 2 or 3 years you in your first playoff, you in your first playoff game. Whereas Joe Burrow, it could be 6 or 7 years before Joe Burrow does anything. And then furthermore, when you come up on your second contract, when you get ready to be extended, you don't do nothing until they make you whole, because they cost you money on your first deal. So you got to make them pay on the second one. So I'm just saluting that kid. Even as a Buckeye, I'm hoping that it all ends up right for the kid. And, in 2 to 3 years, he gets the last laugh. Because I think the dude can play. I think he can play his ass off. So you let New England get him. Or, like I said, another one of these teams that's got all the right pieces in place. And they just got some tree stump or some tree standing back there, getting his head knocked off because he's not mobile. And the game has changed. But that's unfortunate that had to happen for the dude. He seemed like a really good young man. I've always been impressed with him every time I've seen him speak with the media. Totally different guy from Dwayne, I don't even know my man's name, though, Haskins. Completely different character from Haskins. It shouldn't be like that, but that's life. Anyway, let me get on off of here, man. Pay me no mind, sports and entertainment. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. 1, Zach Wilson.